I think Lord Devereux mentioned that he's planning to return home soon, Reggie said pointedly. True, Devereux said in a rueful tone. I won't be able to stay in this fascinating house of yours for very much longer, but what struck me as most interesting about our conversation is that the boy seems amenable to the idea of being shared by the two of us for an evening. If you approve of the idea, that is, Charon? Reggie froze in mid-swallow, feeling as if the alcohol in his drink had just swept up into his head. His gaze flickered toward Charon guardedly, only to find Charon looking at him with a raised brow. Is that true, Reggie? He asked. He sounded intrigued. Swallowing past the lump in his throat, Reggie wiped the back of a hand over his mouth while he gathered his thoughts. Not exactly, he said, feeling the hairs on the back of his neck start to prickle. Both men were looking at him intently now. I must be mistaken then, Devereux said, smiling. What exactly was it that you agreed to? Reggie glared at him. What he'd agreed to was to give Devereux a shot at Charon, because refusing to do so would mean Reggie was insecure about his place in Charon's affections, or something along those lines. What had seemed like an acceptable challenge earlier that day was beginning to feel like a lot of useless bravado right now. But the gauntlet had been thrown. By inviting Reggie to join him while he seduced Charon, Devereux was ensuring that Charon's attention would be focused securely on what they were doing and not wandering, perhaps, to think about Reggie while the two of them were together. Maybe Devereux, in his own way, was as insecure about his place in Charon's affections as he was accusing Reggie of feeling. And Charon, damn him, was looking more and more interested in the proposal as the seconds ticked past. Maybe he really did want to have sex with his former lover again. Maybe he just needed to get it out of his system, like sampling an old food dish that he hadn't tasted in a while. Maybe he felt sorry for Devereux and wanted to humour him for old time's sake. Or maybe Devereux was offering him something that Charon hadn't been able to find again in all of the years since he'd left him. Reggie didn't have anything to be worried about, damn it. He didn't. Okay, he said at last, meeting Devereux's gaze forthrightly and tightening his fingers around the bottle in his hand. You got it. You want a piece of me? You can have it. If Charon agrees. Charon was staring at them both with wide eyes. I see I missed a lot while I was working today. Indeed you did. Devereux smiled softly into his drink. To Reggie's eye, there was a distinct smugness about the expression. How about it, Charon? Your young friend has graciously invited me into your bed. Are you going to turn me away? Reggie's ears burned. He didn't recall ever inviting Devereux into anything, but he couldn't very well back down now. Charon was a grown man who could make his own decisions, and Reggie couldn't keep hiding from the possibility, however painful it might be to contemplate, that those decisions might not include him. Charon regarded both of them thoughtfully, his gaze lingering on Reggie for what seemed like a very long while. No, he finally said. I'm not. You're welcome to stay with us tonight, since Reggie doesn't have any objections. And then, even more softly, as if I could ever say no to you for very long, Trent.